Today's question comes from Mike in Pennsylvania. My kid is most likely not going to college. I was always taught that everyone goes to college. How do I help him find his path? Oof, this is a good question, especially in light of so many of the discussions we've been having recently around college and the pressure to go to college and take out student loans and the Borrowed Future documentary where we're exposing this toxic culture. So many people have been told that you have to go to college to be successful, and that's the only way at all cost. And that's just simply not true. College is not for everyone. It's a great thing. We love education. I'm a big believer in education, but it's not for everyone. But for generations, it's been told that you have to go. So, Mike, I do understand, the concern about your kid not going to college. And one of the first things I would do is work through your own emotions around that. Try to think through, why do I feel this way? What kind of fear do I have with my kid maybe not being successful? And what are your worries and concerns? Settle that in yourself and then approach your student and your child, because the thing is it's so easy to kind of weave your opinion in and kind of get aggressive, and then the wall goes up, and then your kid doesn't want to talk to you about anything. They don't want to talk about the future, and that line of communication is kind of closed. So what I do want is for you to still have that line of communication open and really ask your kid questions about what do they want to do and help them explore what that future could potentially look like. Set goals. There's a lot of different ways to get an education. It's not just the traditional 4-year degree. Maybe they go to work doing an apprenticeship. Maybe they go to trade school. Maybe they get a certificate. There's a lot of different ways to get educated to have a successful career, but you want them to be willing to talk to you and not just shut down because they think that you only want one thing. Keep that line open. There's so many different options. And then also, it's important to set clear boundaries. If your kid is potentially lazy and is thinking, I don't want to go to college because I'm going to sit here and, stay at home and kind of mooch off you for the rest of my life, like that conversation needs to happen too. Perhaps they do stay home for a period as they work and kind of figure out what's next. But it's important to kind of set that boundary of maybe if you stay here, you need to pay rent, or if you stay here, here are the rules. But one of the biggest things is just keeping that line of communication open and having those discussions.
Yeah, but because an eagle that doesn't leave the nest eventually is known as a turkey. So, that needs to happen. But the other thing is this: you need to remember that as a parent, somewhere along the line in our culture, we have slipped a gear and thought that, okay, once they're like 17, they're completely developed and they're allowed to do whatever they want to do, and they're really, really smart because they're young and beautiful. No, they're not. They're young and dumb, and they need a mom and they need a dad to look at them and go, no, that's not smart. You need to tell them the truth, because you've still got more influence even than you think you do. Even if they roll their eyes, you've got more influence than you think you do. Now, here's what it would be at my house, okay? 100% of you that leave this house need to plan on a lifelong pursuit of learning. If you don't keep learning, you're dying. If the last time you read a nonfiction book was 15 years ago, you got a problem. If the last time you ever took any kind of a class of any kind was a decade ago, you got a problem. I teach classes for a living, and I take classes. I read books like crazy that are nonfiction and fiction. And so constantly have a book open. And so I'm going to tell Junior, I don't know why you're saying he's not going to school. I don't know why you've come to that conclusion, but not going to a 4-year school. That's fine. But you're going to do something. You're going to engage in some kind of a CERT program, some kind of a trade school program, some kind of a code school, whatever it is you're going to do. You need to do something post high school, because you're going to be at a vast disadvantage. Your probability of poverty goes way up unless you engage in a lifetime of learning, and it starts with what your first post-high school decision is. Now, again, you want to be a diesel mechanic? I'm good with that. I know diesel mechanics making over 100K, and they love working. They love working in the grease, and they love turning the wrench, and they're good at it, and they're engine whisperers. They can do it, man. I love them. And you want to do that? That's cool. Go do that. You'll make more than somebody that gets a sociology degree with a master's, okay? So have at it. I'm good with that. But the idea that you get to do nothing post-high school, that's not even on the table. And as his dad, you need to influence him starting now on that. And so, okay, we going to do something, Bubba.
Yeah,
what is
right.
it? What is it we going to do? Okay? Game on, all right? And
Right.
that's what you need to do here and plug into that. That's going to be a big deal. And as you said, college isn't for everyone. And, you know, you did postgraduate work. I didn't. I did some postgraduate work. I didn't complete a postgraduate degree. You did. But you know, the idea that somehow, okay, I wrote an app and I made $1 million and I'm 19, doesn't mean you're done, Bubba. It means you just got started and you got a really good start. But if you think you're going to keep doing that over and over and over again for the rest of your life with absolutely no training, not happening. You got lucky and fell backward into that one. And so you need to figure out a way to replicate this, and usually that involves some form of education. Now, I'll hire people in the technology field all day long who don't have a 4-year degree, but have all the certs, and they've been to code school, and they can write code, and they know what they're doing. Most of the best ones don't have a 4-year degree in that. So, and we got 300, 400 tech folk in the building. You know, we got coders and engineers, software engineers all over the building, and hiring them every day. We love them. And that 4-year degree is not necessary there. But I really don't want you doing my accounting as my CFO if you don't have a 4-year degree in that, because that's pretty basic stuff, you know? And so you've got to decide what the training is for the career direction you want to go. Continuous lifetime of learning. That you need to demand, regardless of what little child boy wants to do here. We're going to lay out some other stuff here. That's going to be the plan. This is the Ramsey Show.